All right, I'd figured since this is working so well, took a little bit of a learning curve on these belt clips, but I figured I'd show you how it's done. I've learned. So let's see if I can position the camera so you can get an angle where you can actually see this. Okay, so like I said, it comes with tools to help you, but really the only tool that I'm using is the actual driver to drive the nuts down on these. The plug cutter didn't really work well for me. It just wanted to wander around even after I drilled a pilot hole. I did it on a couple of them, but I found if I use a drill bit that's bigger than the diameter of the bolt, I can get the bolt through the track pretty easily. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking one of the pieces, this guy, without the bolts, and I'm marking on the track. I'm laying it on here, spacing it out where I want it. Actually, what I did in the middle is I went to the outer edge and I did that one first. And then I went in between that. And you only got one shot at this, so you gotta do it right. So that looks good. So I found if I drill a small pilot hole first, and then the bigger hole, the drill bit doesn't want to wander. Now I'm kind of in a dicey spot on this track because there's a metal bar that runs through the rubber right here, right through that ridge. There's a steel bar in there. And you can see my cleat is here. My seam is right here. I've got them joined so well you can't even see them. But the seam runs right across here, all right? That bar is interfering with the bottom bolt on these pins. So I'm having to straddle, I'm figuring for strength, I'll run the bolt under the underside of the bar and the other bolt on the top, but that's kind of stretching the bracket. It can make it tricky to get the bolts from the clip in there. See, she wants to walk. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm coming in from the back side because I want to be able to nip the bolts off when I'm done. This is kind of the hard part here, is trying to get these bolts to go through the holes. It's not too bad once you find them. I found it's easier to use some that kind of have loose retaining rings on them. Then they just want to fall right in like that, see? So those are in. Then you get yourself a plate for this side. Slip it over. Like so. Now the hard part. These little nuts, like I said, are tapered, and they want to go into that recessed area on the clip like they're supposed to, so they're flush. But the problem I had is when I used an electric impact wrench, I did not have enough torque to run them home, to bury them, and to get the thing to bite into the track. So I had to get out Big Bertha to run them home. Well, if you're not careful with Big Bertha, she doesn't have a clutch, and you can really round over some of these nuts. Like this one here is never coming off. It's rounded over. Not only that, but you'll monkey up the threads on the tool. And you don't want to do that. So I run them home with the little guy first, as far as they'll go. That one's going to be a problem child. I'll tell you that right now. Okay, now the hard part. So here's the bit. What I did is I put the bit on here first, and I rotate it until it locks in. You hear that click? I hold it there, put the impact on it, put downforce on it, and run it home. Turn it till you feel it engage. And there, I stripped that one out. There it is. Done. They're all tight. The seam is right here. I couldn't get it very good. Some of the teeth are not straddling. There's one tooth on that side. One tooth's right at the seam. These two are right in it. But this bar is straddling, or this clamp is straddling that metal bar that goes through the track. And yeah, that's the cat's ass right there. That's good and strong. I found it was easiest to do this with the rear axle out. I was trying to bring the two tracks together to meet at around the rear axle, and it just was not happening. So even with ratchet straps, trying to strap them together, just was not happening. So I dropped the rear axle and did it this way, and it worked out perfect. So now we put the axle back in, put the rear suspension all together, tighten the track, set it down on its feet, and then put the engine in, electronics, get it all back together. And then we lift it up in the air and we spin it, see what it does under its own power. That'll be the next video.